because everything on this chart is like a book. All right. And I told, the ladies one time, I say, hey, this is a Zane book, right? You ladies know all about the Zane books, right? So, when you're reading that Zane book, right, you all into it, right? Because it's suspenseful, right? It's leading up to this climax, if you will, right? All the ladies know by the time Jerome gets Shaniqua in the back office and he pulls her leg up to the side, it's about to go down. So it intrigues you to read more and more and more until you can find out what happened. Damn, did Tarquisha really have the baby by him? You know, did she lie to Quan? Right? What happened? Right? You want to know, right? It's pulled you. So the chart is the same way. The chart is a book in a sense, right? Where you're reading what has happened with these swings. What's up, Chanel? You're reading what has happened with where the candles have opened and closed, right? Above or below these support or resistance areas. And again, trend lines are just diagonal support and resistance. All right. And then eventually you'll get very, very close to the climax, meaning you'll get something like this chart pattern to develop, right? So now I'm saying to myself, oh man, it's getting closer and closer to this apex. What's going to happen? Is it going to break out above resistance, or is it going to break out below support, right? I want to know. So I'm watching this and I'm continuously reading this to find out what happens. Right. So I don't know which book, the fellas don't read, we don't read no stuff like, Zane and stuff like that. But, maybe it's a documentary on Kobe or something like that. You know what I'm saying? That we didn't know he did this, and, this was his, what his life was about. And we're reading it and we're like more interested in knowing, well, damn, what happened? Right. Oh, they caught him with this and he did that. Well, what happened next? Right. We might be caught up in something like that, right? To kind of see what the outcome was. Well, again, same thing here, right? Same thing when you're reading the chart. All you're really looking for is, what's going to happen, right? And if you understand that, then you understand there's a lot of uh patience, that kind of comes in with that, right? You might in real life, like, you into the same book, but maybe you got some errands to run, right? You know what I'm saying? Well, you got to make a choice right now. You know what I'm saying? Do you want to finish this book and find out what happens? Or do you want to go ahead and run your errands and then you come back and check on the book later, right? Well, if you go and run your errands, okay, and you come back and check on the book later, well, you might miss it. I mean, well, you're not going to miss it, but you know what I mean? It's going to be one of those situations where, you know, reading it all the way through, right? It's just one of those things that you really want to do, right? You want to read it all the way through and get to the end, right? You don't really want to take that break. Like you hating the fact that you got to close the book and then you got to go and run these errands, deal with whomever, whatever, right? And then you got to come back and then, okay, where was I? All right. Let me focus. Let me get back into that little zone that I was in, right? Uh, you don't really have that luxury in Forex, right? You don't have the luxury of like leaving, right, and then coming back in the charts being exactly where you left off, right? Doesn't happen like that, right? Price continuously moves, so that you guys have to understand, if you're not going to be able to watch the chart, right, in whatever time frame you have, you need to set alerts, right? I got an alert right here because it's close to support and I want to know if it breaks support. So I got an alert right here. Now, when the market opens, I'm going to put another alert up here at the resistance area, or at least a little bit below it, so that if it triggers it, I know price would have risen from support, right? Meaning it did not break support, and that now there's a possibility of it breaking resistance. All right.